Hi, and welcome to the very first installment of a web series called Mikha's Point of View. Just a small disclaimer, I have never hosted one by myself, so please be kind. Finger hearts, thanks. Alright, so our topic for this week is all about data and connection to the creative industries. To be honest, my previous impression of what people did with data in the world of marketing, for example, was this. Please don't sue me. But basically, it was masses of numbers, graphs, and jargons that just didn't register as fun or creative to me. But after our Data and Insight Week, hosted by Creativity Works Futures, I learned about how data can also be a tool to drive culture and media. It gave me a new perspective on what happens behind the various media we consume every day. One example would be our awesome session with Edelman. For those that may not know, Edelman is a global communications firm that partners with businesses and organizations to evolve, promote, and protect their brands and reputations. Right. So on that day, they showed us how data can be used to add a more human touch to the element of research when it comes to data analytics, from qualitative and quantitative data to psycholinguistic analysis. I know, it seems like a lot, and I agree, but breaking this process down, it was basically being able to paint a picture of each consumer's preferences and personalities to help navigate a brand's next steps. So basically, if you ever had that bizarre moment where you were literally just talking about fidget spinners to a friend and then an ad for fidget spinners suddenly pops up on your phone, that's one example of your data being used to adjust to your needs and preferences. But aside from just interpreting the demographics and needs of people, we also discovered the unique process of applying psycholinguistic research on different social media. Using the latest Bond film as a case study, we immersed ourselves in the eyes of the film's spectators and delved deep into the very recesses of their minds. Okay, maybe not that deep. But basically, we learned that what people say and how they say it allows data scientists to view behavioral patterns that help build a personality of what the consumers actually like. But these, of course, are processes that aid to make the experience of a brand even more up-to-date with the zeitgeist, as well as the desires of its audiences. Oops. They listen, guys, and more closely than we think. Aside from this, another very memorable and informative day was our session with Initiative. Initiative is a global communications agency built to grow brands through culture. They showed what the framework that goes behind marketing campaigns would look like. To be very honest, I had always thought of marketing campaigns as something that can be somewhat misleading and dishonest, as its ultimate goal was to encourage people to buy into things and buy things. But girl, was I wrong. After the session with Initiative, I had come to realize that there was so much more to marketing than just trying to convince people to purchase a product. A truly great campaign can save lives and even help uplift the community. This is through working with companies that aim to create campaigns that work to target social issues and keep a pulse on a society's needs. A few wonderful examples were a campaign by HSBC that helps homeless people feel included in society by pairing up with shelters to set up an address for their bank accounts, thereby breaking the vicious cycle of being denied a bank account for simply not being able to afford having a home. Another would be a campaign by Heineken that helped pubs that have had to close shop due to the lockdown by paying them to have an ad painted or applied onto their closed shutters. And this was all made possible through adequate research and genuine concern for community. All in all, what I learned this week was the balance of humanity and industry that goes into research and marketing, having companies that cultivate trust and love in the community as well as its consumers are what made me the most inspired, and what I feel is the key takeaway that I have had with the Data and Insights Week. We may not fully appreciate it at face value, especially because our impressions of data may be pages upon pages of statistics and industry jargons, but data has become such a crucial part of our lives that imagining a world without it now seems impossible, or at the very least, extremely counterproductive. In conclusion, maximizing data by creating new and more progressive ways to keep a pulse on society and the world in order to build a more inclusive and empathetic creative industry that more honestly reflects the cultures of the world is what I believe the future holds. No more secrets, just love. And that's all from me this week. Also, shout out to my best friend for making my cute intro jingle. Double finger hearts for you. And see you guys next week for possibly another episode of Mikha's Point of View.